between residents of a Cambridgeshire marina and the Environment Agency after it took them to court for refusing to buy river licences. Owners of houseboats and lodges say they shouldn't be charged the £430 fee because they're not vessels on the water. The agency, however, disagrees and has gone to the appeal court to make them pay. Joseph Hall reports from Hartford Marina near Huntingdon.
This is Hartford Marina. It's described as the gateway to the Great River Ouse. Now, if you look over my right shoulder, you can see it's a fantastic location for canal boats and river boats. But then over to my left, you can see it also plays home to static homes and lodges. Now, on the council's website, it says visitors here are always welcome. But some of the residents of these static homes and lodges say that when the Environment Agency paid them a visit in early January, they were anything but welcome.
Alright Joseph, you just want to come in? I took this picture on the way back. Basically, the Environment Agency were checking I had a licence for my boat. A few weeks later, I was astounded when they found out that I actually had to have a licence for my house.
This house?
This house.
These fees are called river vessel licences and they refer to river-going boats. They cover the cost of river maintenance and locks. But homes like Glenn's can't move.
And as you can see, these are driven 20, 30 feet into the riverbed, and these are going nowhere.
But the Environment Agency didn't agree. Magistrates found Glenn and another neighbour guilty of fee evasion. He was fined and given a criminal record. But months later, a Crown Court judge overturned that decision.
The judge was quite emphatic. He read out, on no equivocation, that the EA were absolutely out of order, bending the rules, in fact making it up as they went along, contravening what the Secretary of State, their boss, had told them to wind the necks in 5 years previously.
Other residents assumed that because it's the Environment Agency, the demand must be paid.
They even said to them, if you get a criminal record, it may affect your pensions. And some of these pensioners are 80 years old, and they're just buckled. And I think with the exception of two of us, they've just paid up. And me and this other guy would just say, no, we're not having that.
But of even greater concern to the wider boating and houseboat community is whether the Environment Agency has any jurisdiction over private marinas like Hartford in the first place.
They have no concern being here whatsoever. The Secretary of State told them to remove that provision from their Act, that they have jurisdiction over private waters, adjacent waters and marinas, and they chose not to. So this is why we challenge it. It is unlawful and illegal and causing all us pensioners who live here peacefully, hopefully, a great deal of worry.
The Environment Agency say they're only looking at appealing the decision as to whether or not residents of the permanent homes should have to pay a river licence fee or not. As for the second issue, whether or not the Environment Agency have any jurisdiction in private marinas like this at all, they say they do. Not surprisingly, the residents say they don't. I've even spoken to DEFRA, who admit that it's a very confusing issue and one that is more likely than not going to be determined at some stage in a court as well. Joseph Hall, BBC Look East, Huntingdon.